Welcome to IALF, the Indonesia-Australia Language Foundation. IALF has been at the forefront of excellence in language training and testing for over 35 years, empowering people across Indonesia and beyond. IALF offers something for everyone, from general English courses for all ages to specialized programs such as IELTS test preparation for those preparing to study overseas or business English for professionals. IALF Welcome to IALF, the Indonesia-Australia Language Foundation. IALF has been at the forefront of excellence in language training and testing for over 35 years, empowering people across Indonesia and beyond. IALF offers something for everyone, from general English courses for all ages to specialized programs such as IELTS test preparation for those preparing to study overseas or business English for professionals. IALF has provided pre-departure academic English language training for Australia Awards scholarships since the 1980s, as well as for other prestigious scholarship programs offered by New Zealand, the UK and other countries. Our general English courses cater to learners at all levels, building a strong English language foundation and opening doors to new opportunities. For young learners, we offer dynamic programs that make learning English enjoyable and effective. A good score in an international test such as IELTS or Pearson Academic is a prerequisite for studying or working abroad. At IALF, we offer testing services and test preparation courses for the general public and for government agencies to ensure that candidates perform at their absolute best. At IALF Global, we provide expert study abroad counselling services, guiding clients to the best international education opportunities. IALF Global Education Fairs connect students with institutions worldwide, broadening their horizons. IELTS tryout sessions provide realistic practice, boosting confidence and readiness for the actual exam. IALF branches are strategically located in Jakarta, Gading Serpong and Bali. We are always within reach to support your educational journey. Reflecting on our 35-year journey, we are inspired by the success of our students, alumni and partners. Join the thousands who have transformed their lives through language studies with IALF. Together, we build brighter futures.
Hello, good morning everyone. Selamat datang di IELTS Online Workshop bersama IALF. Terima kasih telah bergabung. Acara ini terselenggara atas kerjasama IALF dengan Education USA dan didukung oleh Universitas Mulawarman dan Universitas Muhammadiyah Kalimantan Timur. Sebelumnya saya ingin mengucapkan terima kasih sebesar-besarnya kepada Mbak Irma dari Education USA, kemudian dari pihak Unmul dan UMKT yang telah memberikan kesempatan untuk kami membuat acara ini sehingga hari ini kita bisa dapat berkumpul bersama gitu. Nah, sebelum mulai mungkin saya ingin cek Mbak terlebih dahulu, boleh kasih reaction buat teman-teman yang dari Unmul? Ada, saya lihat kemarin banyak sekali yang teman-teman dari Unmul, boleh kasih emoticon love atau claps your hand? Kalau teman-teman dari UMKT ada? Boleh kasih reaction mungkin? Oke, terima kasih. Atau ada teman-teman yang dari luar Samarinda, yang dekat dengan saya di Jabodetabek, mungkin ada, bisa kasih reaction juga. Baik, terima kasih. Oke, pagi ini kita akan belajar bersama tentang tips dan strategi dasar mengerjakan IELTS test bersama IALF IELTS Trainer, yaitu Mr. Jamie McIlroy. Namun sebelum itu, saya ingin memperkenalkan diri terlebih dahulu. Nama saya Happy, saya adalah Manager Marketing di IALF Gading Serpong. Dan mungkin ada teman-teman yang belum mengetahui apa itu IALF dan apa saja layanan-layanan yang dapat kami berikan. Sedikit merangkum, jadi IALF is Indonesia's premier institution for English and Indonesian language training, international testing, teacher training, and overseas education services. Dan kami ada 3 cabang di seluruh Indonesia. Yang pertama kami ada di IALF Jakarta di Sudirman Park, kemudian IALF Gading Serpong di Tangerang, kemudian ada IALF Bali di Denpasar. Mungkin kalau teman-teman dari Samarinda lebih dekat ke IALF Bali di Denpasar. Atau jangan khawatir juga, kami juga ada layanan-layanan online dan juga kami menyelenggarakan tes IELTS di banyak tempat di seluruh Indonesia. Dan ini sekilas tentang klien kami. Jadi kami juga bekerja sama dengan banyak universitas dan juga kementerian. Kami juga bekerja sama dengan institusi beasiswa dan beberapa lembaga atau komunitas scholarship begitu. Dan berikut adalah layanan-layanan IALF. Yang pertama kami menyediakan kelas persiapan IELTS dan juga PTE, Pearson Test of English, sama-sama tes internasional juga dan berlaku secara internasional yang dibutuhkan oleh universitas. Di kelas ini teman-teman nanti akan mempelajari strategi cara menjawab soal-soal IELTS dan PTE beserta latihan-latihan soal. Dan kelas ini dibimbing oleh guru-guru IALF yang berpengalaman dalam IELTS testing dan PTE testing. Kemudian layanan kami yang kedua di IALF, kami adalah penyelenggara yang resmi untuk IELTS test dan juga PTE test di Indonesia. Dan IELTS dapat dilakukan di seluruh cabang-cabang IALF yang seperti saya sebutkan tadi, dan juga offsite test center yang berada di seluruh Indonesia. Lalu untuk PTE test sendiri, sementara ini hanya ada di IALF Gading Serpong di Tangerang. Kemudian yang ketiga, layanan kami menyediakan IELTS Insights Test, yakni simulasi IELTS Test yang berbasis komputer. Jadi mungkin teman-teman banyak yang belum tahu atau ingin mencoba seperti apa user interface IELTS Test yang komputer ini. Nah, kami memiliki simulasinya bernama IELTS Insight Test. Untuk tes ini bisa dilakukan secara online atau teman-teman bisa juga walk-in di IALF Gading Serpong atau di IALF Bali. Kemudian yang keempat, kami memiliki divisi bernama IALF Global, dan divisi ini membantu teman-teman yang ingin mau studi lanjut ke luar negeri. Nanti mengenai IALF Global akan dijelaskan oleh rekan saya, Briza, yang telah bergabung di sini juga. Dan selain di 3 cabang kami juga menyelenggarakan IELTS test di banyak tempat di seluruh Indonesia, seperti di Universitas Negeri Malang, kemudian Universitas Mataram, di UIN Alauddin Makassar, di Poli Batam, dan di Pontianak di Bansa Foundation, dan juga kota-kota lainnya. Jadi teman-teman jangan khawatir kalau misalkan di Samarinda belum ada IALF, teman-teman mungkin dapat tes IELTS di tempat yang terdekat yang dari teman-teman semuanya. Dan untuk pembayaran IELTS test sendiri itu bisa dilakukan secara tunai atau kredit, dan kalau menggunakan kartu kredit BCA, BNI, dan Mandiri, terdapat opsi cicilan 0%, 3 bulan, dan 6 bulan. Dan jika teman-teman sudah mendaftar IELTS test di IALF, nanti teman-teman akan diundang untuk mengikuti kelas IELTS Orientation, and it is for free. Jadi kelas ini akan memberikan strategi dan tips cara menjawab soal-soal IELTS oleh guru-guru IALF yang berpengalaman, dan juga kelas ini diselenggarakan secara online. Dan bagi teman-teman yang ingin mempersiapkan skill IELTS testnya sebelum mengambil IELTS test yang resmi, kami memiliki kelas namanya IELTS Preparation Modular. Nah, di kelas ini teman-teman bisa mengikutinya secara online atau bisa juga offline di cabang-cabang IALF. Jadwal kelasnya sendiri ada yang weekdays, yaitu Selasa sampai Jumat, dan juga Saturday setiap hari Sabtu. Untuk mengikuti kelasnya, teman-teman bisa melakukan placement test terlebih dahulu, dan untuk placement testnya sendiri harus ada di level minimum pre-intermediate 3, atau setara dengan 5,0. Namun, jika setelah placement test hasilnya masih kurang dari pre-intermediate 3, kami memiliki kelas IELTS Foundation di mana kelas tersebut tidak hanya mengajarkan strategi dan tips cara mengerjakan soalnya, tetapi juga bahasa Inggris secara umum. Jadi, landasan-landasan atau basis bahasa Inggrisnya akan diperkuat di kelas ini. Dan ini adalah skill-skill yang diajarkan di IELTS Foundation. Lalu, seperti yang saya infokan tadi, sebelum mengambil IELTS test resmi, teman-teman juga dapat mengambil IELTS Insight Test. Dan tes ini dibuat semirip mungkin dengan official IELTS test. Yang diujikan ada 4 skill, ada listening, reading, writing, dan speaking. Dan setelah tes, nanti teman-teman akan mendapatkan report dan feedback dari teacher kami. Lalu, misalkan teman-teman ingin hanya speakingnya saja atau uji coba speaking dengan teacher kami, nanti juga bisa mengambil IELTS Insight yang speaking saja, dan itu biayanya Rp300.000. Selain IELTS Test, di IALF kami juga menyelenggarakan Pearson Test of English atau PTE, dan untuk PTE sendiri, untuk sementara hanya ada di IALF Gading Serpong. Teman-teman bisa dapat booking untuk tesnya maksimum 24 jam sebelum waktu tesnya. Untuk biayanya kurang lebih sama dengan IELTS 3 jutaan, tapi untuk pembayaran PTE test itu hanya menggunakan kartu kredit. Kalau teman-teman tidak ada kartu kredit, kami di IALF juga menyediakan voucher PTE akademik yang bisa dilakukan pembayarannya menggunakan transfer. Lalu untuk persiapannya, kami memiliki kursus kilat PTE for WHV, kelasnya secara online dan ditempuh dalam waktu 2 minggu. Atau jika ingin lebih dedicated atau private, kami memiliki program namanya PTE Prep Premium. Untuk kelasnya sendiri nanti bisa menyesuaikan dengan jadwal teman-teman dan juga teacher kami. Dan jika ada teman-teman yang akan berencana studi lanjut ke luar negeri, IALF Global dapat membantu teman-teman mulai dari memilih jurusan, universitas, aplikasi ke universitas, student visa, dan lain sebagainya. Terakhir, kami memiliki layanan essay consulting services di mana teman-teman dapat submit essay ke kami dan kami akan mengecek dan memberikan feedback untuk teman-teman nanti edit dan submit lagi ke kami untuk kami berikan feedback yang kedua kalinya. Essay yang dapat kami cek itu bermacam-macam mulai dari essay aplikasi beasiswa, personal statement, dan sebagainya. Bagi teman-teman yang ada di area Jabodetabek, ini karena acaranya offline di IALF Gading Serpong, minggu depan tanggal 18 November kami memiliki acara namanya Study in the UK, Explore UK Universities, di mana ada 4 universitas ternama dari UK, representatifnya akan datang ke IALF dan akan memberikan informasi mengenai jurusan-jurusan dan juga apa saja yang mereka tawarkan seperti beasiswa dan juga tuition fee-nya. Teman-teman bisa register di QR code ini. Dan jika ada pertanyaan lebih lanjut mengenai IELF atau IELTS test, silakan bisa chat kami via WhatsApp di nomor ini atau bisa scan QR code yang ada di layar. Dan terima kasih itu perkenalan mengenai IALF. Selanjutnya saya akan alihkan ke Kak Briza, rekan saya di IALF Global yang akan menjelaskan tentang apa itu IALF Global dan apa saja yang dapat kami bantu. Kak Briza, silakan.
All right, so let me share the screen. Okay, all good, Mas Evi?
Yap,
Okay.
terlihat.
Right. So, hello everyone. Welcome. Thanks for coming today. I'm Briza, and today I want to share a little bit about how studying abroad could actually be closer and simpler than you think. I know it might sound like a big dream for some of you, but I promise after this session you will realize it's totally doable actually, especially when you've got the right people to guide you. So, let's start for the first question. Who do you think we are for IALF Global? Apakah sekolah, are we school, travel agency maybe? So yeah, Mas Happy just explain a little bit about ILF Global. ILF Global is a team that helps students like you to plan and prepare your study abroad journey, from choosing your university, preparing your documents, guiding you step by step through visa and admission. But basically, we are here to make the whole process a lot less stressful and a lot more exciting. So we don't just send students abroad, we prepare them, we prepare you. Because studying abroad isn't only about the destination, it's about transformation, right? So you have to be becoming more independent, confident, and globally minded. We have three locations: Jakarta, Gading Serpong, and Bali. And also these are country destination. You can we represent universities in countries a lot, like Australia, the UK, Canada, New Zealand, Singapore, and many more. And actually, our job is to help you find your best fit, whichever country you want to study, based on your goals, maybe, or budget, maybe, and also your personality, your preference, because studying abroad isn't one size fits all thing, right? It's personalist journey. So basically, we prepare your consultation based on your personality preference. And also these are the universities you can apply to with our support, from Monash University, Western Australia, New South Wales, Edinburgh, Glasgow, Sheffield, and many more. So where should we begin? You know, a lot of students come to us saying like, "Kak, I really want to study abroad, but I don't know where to start," right? And honestly, that's totally fine. That's exactly why we are here today. We are the counselor will help you to figure out your first steps. This is a study abroad journey generally, actually. So it all begins with exploring your study options. And then we move into checking entry requirements, things like GPA, English test scores, or portfolio requirements if you're going to into design program or architecture programs. After that comes preparing your application, gathering your documents, writing your statement of purpose, recommendation letters, and so on. Once that's ready, we'll help you with applying to universities, making sure your application is strong, accurate, and sent on time. If you are aiming for financial support, there is also applying for scholarships. And yes, we'll guide you on how to find and apply for them properly. Then when you get that happy news, you got the, what is that, sponsorship letter announcement. So you will accept your offer letter. We move to applying for your student visa and making sure all your documents are in line. Next, we help you with arranging accommodation and living plans. So you'll already know where you'll stay, how to settle in, and what to expect when you arrive. And finally, there is pre-departure preparation. That's where we talk about culture, practical tips, and what to pack before you fly. So yeah, it's a whole journey, but when you look at it step by step like this, it's actually very doable, right? So, and the best part is you're not doing it alone. We are here with you through every step. For every requirement, let's talk a bit about it because it's super important for to study abroad. For undergraduate or bachelor degree, most universities will look at your academic background, actually, your English proficiency, and sometimes additional documents like portfolio or personal statement for certain countries or universities. Yeah. And then all of documents that is in Indonesian must translate it into English before submit to the universities. For master degree by coursework, the bar is a bit higher. You will need bachelor degree in related field, usually with a GPA of around 2.8, I think, or above, and an IELTS of 6.5 to 7, depends on the programs or universities. And also some programs might also ask for work experience like MBA program or a personal statement explaining your academic and career goals. But again, we'll help you review your academic background and find programs that best fit your profile. That's part of what we do as counselors, actually. Now for those for you who are more into research, let's talk about master by research and PhD programs. These are a bit different instead of mostly taking classes because you will be doing independent research, right? Under the guidance of a supervisor. So the first thing before you apply to the university, you have to email to supervisor with the certain topic that interests you, or you fill expression of interest EOI form that you will get from their website, and also you have to prepare your research proposal before you submit to the university. And then of course you need a graduate certificate, a bachelor, and also your master program, and also your academic transcript. CV and resume, you have to attach it as well. You have to explain what are your research experience and also publications. For IELTS, normally, basically 6.5 or more, and also personal statement upon request. Yeah, the last one, it's also important. You have two references later from your a lecturer or the dean. Okay, so before we move to the end, let's hear from one of our students who made it abroad with our help. While you were watching, maybe you think that this could be you next year, or maybe next 2 years, sitting in a new classroom studying something you love, living a dream you started right here today. So let's watch it.
Halo everyone, nama aku Fazira Zahra Waida, salah satu award di LPDP yang berhasil masuk University College Dublin dengan jurusan Space Science and Technology berkat dibantu
Hey,
oleh IELTS Global. Dan di sini IELTS Global menjadi salah satu tumpuan aku untuk berhasil masuk ke UCD ini, dibantu dari mulai dokumen-dokumennya, terus dari pemilihan negara, pemilihan jurusan yang aku mau, serta analisisnya juga. juga bisa application. Sangat berterima kasih kepada IELTS karena untuk konselor aku Kak Tobing atas bantuannya selama ini yang bisa berhasil menjadi salah satu alumni dan juga mahasiswa yang bisa studi karena ada tes IELTS di IALF dan juga untuk aplikasi kuliah di luar negeri di global, jadi aku mendapatkan cashback sebesar 1 juta rupiah buat teman-teman yang masih bingung untuk jurusan, terus yang masih bingung mulai dari mana sih mau ke luar negeri untuk sekolah, bisa langsung kontak ke IELTS Global terutama untuk aku di Gading Serpong dan juga IELTS Global terdekat di rumah kalian. Terima kasih. Baik, baik.
Okay, exciting news. If you're interested in studying in the UK, we are hosting a study in the UK, Explore UK Universities. You will get the chance to meet university representatives directly, like Aston University, University of Glasgow, University of Southampton, and University of Sheffield. And also you can ask about scholarships, their programs, and even on-the-spot consultation with them. So don't miss it. It's one of the easiest way to start building your pathway abroad. If you want to talk more personally after this, feel free to contact us at ILF Guiding Serpong. You can message us, email us, or just walk in. We love meeting students in person, actually. So here's our contact info on the screen. Maybe you want to take a picture or screenshot this so you don't forget to contact us. All right, that's all from me today. Thank you so much for your time and attention. And if you ever need someone to guide you through that journeys, so we are always here. Just contact us directly. Okay, thank you so much.
Okay, thank you, Briza. That was very informative. And next, before we move on to the IELTS tips and strategies, we've got Mbak Irma Fitriani here from Education USA Advisor. Mbak Irma, the time is yours.
Thank you, Mas Happy. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Selamat pagi semuanya. Good morning. Apa kabar, teman-teman? Semoga semua yang di sini dalam keadaan sehat semua dan semangat ya. Pertama-tama saya izin memperkenalkan diri. Saya Irma, adalah salah satu Education USA Advisor yang base-nya ada di Samarinda, Kalimantan Timur. Nah, jadi untuk teman-teman yang ada di UMKT, di Unmul, dan juga di Kalimantan Timur, feel free to visit our center in Universitas Muhammadiyah, Kalimantan Timur. Pertama-tama, saya juga mau mengucapkan terima kasih ke Mas Happy, Mas Briza, dan teman-teman dari IALF karena sudah menyelenggarakan sesi ini yang sangat informatif sekali. Juga terima kasih ke Miss Nur Rahmawati dari Universitas Mulawarman dan Pak Zul tentunya dari UMKT beserta semua peserta yang ada di sini yang sudah menyempatkan waktunya di hari Sabtu ini ya untuk ikut serta dan belajar bersama hari ini. Nah, saya singkat saja, saya izin berbagi tentang Education USA dan tentunya salah satu cabang di Kalimantan ya, teman-teman. Jadi mungkin teman-teman yang belum tahu bertanya-tanya apa itu Education USA. Jadi Education USA is a US Department of State network. We have more than 400 advising centers around the world di 170 negara ya teman-teman. Dan Education USA ini selain di bawah Departemen Luar Negeri dan juga Kedutaan Besar Amerika Serikat, kami berkomitmen untuk mempromosikan diversity of US higher education to help all of us here, international students, seperti yang dikatakan Mas Briza, to find your best fit in US higher education institution according your needs, your skills, and your goals. kami disebut advisor. We offer accurate, comprehensive, current, and unbiased information about all of accredited US higher education institutions. Dan juga teman-teman perlu diingat, Education USA is one of the government institution. We are not an agent. So all of our services are free ya teman-teman. Semua service dari Education USA itu gratis ya teman-teman. Dan service kita sangat beragam sekali. Nah yang juga bisa diikuti oleh semua teman-teman Bapak Ibu yang ada di sini. Nah, Education USA juga tersebar di seluruh pulau yang ada di Indonesia, ada di Aceh, di Medan, di US Embassy Jakarta, di Amerika Pacific Place Mall Jakarta, di Malang, di Surabaya, di Makassar, dan tentu saja di Samarinda. Nah, mungkin teman-teman bertanya-tanya ya, kenapa saya harus menjadikan US menjadi salah satu destinasi saya untuk melanjutkan S1, S2, atau S3. Jadi di US itu tentu saja teman-teman pasti sudah tahu juga kami memiliki lebih dari 4.000 universitas. Jadi pilihannya sangat banyak sekali dan setiap tahun kami membantu lebih dari 8.000 mahasiswa internasional yang mau kuliah di AS. Dari Indonesia tentu saja ada lebih dari 8.000 juga teman-teman. Dan di tahun kemarin ya paling banyak itu mendaftar di Columbia, di Harvard, di California, Texas, dan di East Coast tentu saja juga ada. Nah, selain itu, teman-teman mungkin mau menjadikan US menjadi salah satu destinasi untuk melanjutkan studinya ya. Nah, ini saya share beberapa alasan saja. Kalau teman-teman lihat di top rank university in the world, US memiliki most prestigious top rank schools in the world, memiliki kualitas terbaik dengan kampus yang sangat fleksibel di bidang fasilitasnya, fakultasnya, dan programnya, sehingga jika teman-teman berkuliah di sana akan menyuguhkan kualitas yang terbaik yang ada di dunia ya. Selain itu juga menyuguhkan riset-riset terkini, misalkan di bidang AI, biomedical science, di bidang teknologi, ekonomi, dan masih banyak lagi. Tentu saja teman-teman juga akan mendapatkan life experience yang sangat diverse karena USA adalah melting pot di mana teman-teman bisa berjumpa dengan seluruh banyak sekali ya warga negara di seluruh dunia, sehingga teman-teman dan Bapak Ibu di sini memiliki strong professional network, strengthened resume, dan tentu saja bisa jalan-jalan ke berbagai wilayah di Amerika Serikat. Selain itu, US Educational System juga tidak terlalu berbeda dengan sistem pendidikan di Indonesia ya, di mana di US itu juga sama-sama mewajibkan sekolah 12 tahun, S1-nya 4 tahun, S2-nya 2 tahun, dan dilanjutkan dengan PhD 2-6 tahun, bergantung dengan riset Bapak Ibu yang dijalankan di sana. Nah, jadi pasti Bapak Ibu juga pernah mendengar berbagai beasiswa yang disajikan oleh pemerintah Indonesia, misalnya seperti LPDP, beasiswa Garuda untuk SMA, dan tentu saja Fulbright dan juga fellowship ya dari berbagai yang ditawarkan oleh government Amerika ya. Jadi kami menawarkan beberapa service untuk membantu Bapak Ibu melanjutkan studi di AS, misalnya kita membantu dalam research your options, jadi Bapak Ibu bisa melihat opsi apa saja yang ada di Amerika, membantu mencari sumber pendanaan, baik itu dari LPDP, Fulbright, ataupun beasiswa dari setiap universitas yang ada di US, melengkapi aplikasi baik esai maupun CV dan lain sebagainya, dan juga mencari visa hingga persiapan keberangkatan. Tiap tahun Education USA menyelenggarakan pre-departure orientation yang ada di Jakarta, dan itu bisa diikuti secara gratis ya Bapak Ibu. Teman-teman, saya ingat sekali lagi, jadi teman-teman silahkan gunakan servis yang kami tawarkan. Nah, ini servisnya meliputi free one-on-one consultation, baik secara online maupun offline, free group advising programs, jadi bisa bersama-sama, misalnya satu kelas ataupun 5 orang, 10 orang, dan lain sebagainya. Free information sessions, hampir setiap bulan kami melakukan webinar yang teman-teman bisa ikuti dan itu semuanya gratis ya teman-teman. Free outreach or mobile advising, jadi kami bisa berkunjung ke universitas, Bapak Ibu dan teman-teman sekalian. Free online or virtual advising, jadi dari manapun wilayahnya di Indonesia, teman-teman bisa berkonsultasi dengan 10 advisors di 8 kota yang Education USA miliki. Selain itu, kami setiap spring dan fall season kami mengadakan free annual fairs in Indonesia major cities. Di tahun ini yang terbaru kami menyelenggarakan di Surabaya, Yogyakarta, dan juga Jakarta. Selain itu, kami juga menyelenggarakan free pre-departure orientation. Jadi, silakan Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman sekalian ikuti Instagram kita di Education USA Indonesia dan juga bisa lakukan online advising, bookingnya online ya teman-teman. Nanti silahkan diklik link di bawah ini, lalu pilih book free online advising di Calendly. Misalkan teman-teman memilih nama saya, ada juga 9 advisor lainnya, silahkan dipilih waktunya sesuai dengan jadwal yang teman-teman miliki. Dan tentu saja kami menunggu untuk terhubung dengan Bapak, Ibu, dan teman-teman di YouTube channel kami, Facebook, Instagram, dan juga X. Dan sampai ketemu di Calendly and see you in the USA. Saya kembalikan ke Mas Happy. Thank you.
Oke, terima kasih Mbak Irma atas presentasinya. Now, we are moving on to the main session of today's webinar, everyone. Online IELTS Workshop by IALF. And this session will be interactive, so we encourage all participants to turn on their cameras. And our speaker today is Mr. Jamie McIlroy, an IELTS trainer and facilitator at IALF. Jamie has many years of experience teaching English, especially in the IELTS preparation courses. Jamie, are you ready?
Sure am. Let's go.
Okay, the time is yours.
Hi there, guys and girls. My name is Jamie. You don't have to call me Mr. or Sir, just call me Jamie, yeah? Now, today, as far as what we're going to do is, I'm going to go through just the 3 productive skills that are used in IELTS, which is writing task 1, writing task 2, and speaking. Now, what I would suggest to you is just get a notebook or notepad and write down anything that you find important. And also, what the plan is I will give a bit of a introduction to all of those 3 skills. And I would then like you to just write down any questions you've got, and we will have a Q&A session at the end. So I'll be able to answer any questions you've got after that. Now, you can actually write a few questions onto the chat, but if there's because there's already so many people in the meeting, we may not be able to keep track of it. So possibly just write the questions down, and we will have a session at the end where you can go for it and ask me whatever you like. All right, so what I'm going to go through first of all is the writing test. Okay, now, if you're not aware, and some of the things you may already know, so you don't need to write them down. However, some very important information which I will go through with you. So to start off with, guys, in the writing test, you actually have 1 hour and you are required to do 2 different tasks. Okay, now, I would strongly suggest to everyone to do writing task 2 first. And there's sort of reasons for that. And that is that writing task 2 is worth double the score, or we could say 67% of your score. Okay, in writing task 2, you have a minimum word count of 250 words. So you must write above that, and you should be spending approximately 40 minutes. Now, as for writing task 1, obviously 33% of your score has a minimum word count of 150 words, and also you should be spending approximately 20 minutes. Okay. Hi, Dion. I just saw you there. Dion's one of my students. Nice of you to make it. Okay. Now,
Hi, Jamie.
okay. All right, guys. So I would suggest just put a little subheading or topic or heading at the top with writing task 2. Yes. Now, with writing task 2, guys, or productive skills in general, the examiners, we use a what we call band descriptors. Now, band descriptors are basically what the examiner uses to mark your writing or speaking. Okay. Now, please don't think that you can just turn up and do a task, a skill with IELTS. You need to follow and meet the criteria of the band descriptors. Now, I'm going to go through this with you in a little bit of detail. Please scroll down. Thanks, Happy. Okay. Down to writing task 2, please. Okay. Now, guys, what I normally focus on, or we normally focus on in class, is basically, go up a little bit, please, Happy. Sorry, down a little bit, band 7. Okay. So I can see band 6 and 7. Okay. Now, look, based on if students want to study abroad, the general requirement by most universities is sort of a minimum of 6, and it sort of goes up to 7. Okay. Now, we try and focus on band 7 in the class environment. It may be a little bit more than some people desire, but it's sort of the target score. Now, with writing task 2, guys, you are scored in 4 different criteria. Okay, now, as you can see across the top here, we have task response, coherence and cohesion, lexical, and then grammar. Now, guys, these are all equally weighted, which means they're 25% each. So please don't think that the IELTS test is grammar-based only. It's not. Okay, it's how well you answer the question, how easy your essay is to read and follow, the vocabulary you use, and also the grammar. Now, again, guys, I can't go through everything in 100% detail, but I'm just going to give you the basics. Okay, so please get ready to write it down. All right, for band 7, task response, guys. It's mentions here, the main parts of the prompt are appropriately addressed. So IELTS will give you a topic and you are required to write a response. Now, there are basically 5 different question types, which are that IELTS will give you a topic and you'll have to discuss the advantages or disadvantages, the positives or negatives, reasons why you agree or disagree. They'll give you a topic that has 2 different sort of views or opinions. You will discuss both sides and or a problem and solution. Now, you are definitely required to discuss both sides. Okay, so even if your opinion is that it's better to, for example, shop online, you will discuss the advantages of it and then also possible disadvantages. Now, for the second point here in band 7, task response, it says a clear and developed position. So what that sort of, it's a little bit fancy language, but what it actually means is that you have a very clear opinion. So what I'm going to say to you is don't stand on the fence. Don't say, oh, it has advantages and it also has disadvantages. No, you need to clearly state, I think that, example, shopping online is better than going to physical stores. Okay, make your opinion very clear. Now, for your essay, you will basically, just a very general structure. I won't have too much time to go into the structure of your essay, but you will have basically an introduction, the first body paragraph, okay, and that would be, for example, the advantages, second body paragraph, disadvantages, and then a conclusion. All right, now, in each of the body paragraphs, you are required to have basically 2 clear ideas. Okay, now, each clear idea, if you're looking at band 7, should be what we would say is well supported and extended. Okay, so giving a clear idea and with only 1 or 2 bits of support is possibly not enough. Okay, it's not for band 7. All right, so ideally I would say to you 3 or 4 bits of support and or further support and or an example. Okay, and that's sort of meeting the criteria of band 7. All right. We've also got here that a tendency to overgeneralize. Okay. Now, if I was to give you an example, guys, such as all children who play with gadgets will have eye problems. Okay. Now, that's an overgeneralization because I actually did say all and then I said will. Okay. So avoid generalizations that sort of presenting a certainty that something will definitely happen because it's not really the case. Okay, so you could say the majority of people, and you could use a modal verb such as may or might instead of will. Yes, keep that in mind. Now, it also mentions here, guys, that when you present a clear idea, all the support you use must be relevant to the clear idea. Okay, as soon as you start using support that doesn't match up with the clear idea, it becomes a little bit off topic and it lacks a little bit of focus, yes? Okay, keep that in mind. All right, if we move over to coherence and cohesion. Okay, guys, if you structure your essay, like I sort of mentioned earlier, intro, body 1, body 2, and conclusion, you are logically organizing your essay. Now, I would be suggesting to you, whatever your opinion is, which you will have the last sentence of your introduction, I think shopping online is better, okay? Your first body paragraph should match up to that. So you would then be discussing the advantages first, yes? Okay. Now, for the second point here, guys, it says a range of cohesive devices. Now, as far as I'm aware in Indonesia, most of the teachers that you've had through school or even at university call cohesive devices linking words or connectors. Okay, so the proper term for it is cohesive devices, and they are words as, so, but, which, however, whereas, unlike. Okay, now, the word cohesive, excuse me, the word cohesive actually means like glue, or we could say lem. So what you're ideally doing is you're using cohesive devices to join bits of information together. Now, the bits of information you join together will be, let's say, linked together. So they're not going to be random different points. They are going to be a sort of a progression of information. Right, now it does say that you must have, for band 7, a flexible use. So that sort of means avoid repeating the same connector. So any time that you can use a connector for a different purpose, okay, you're going to probably score a little bit higher, yes? All right, now, paraphrasing, okay. Look, guys, for paraphrasing, what that's sort of referring to is that you need to restructure when you get information that IELTS provides you. So don't sort of use the same structure as in sentence structure as what IELTS gives you. If you can paraphrase it, you're more than likely going to score a little bit higher, okay? But obviously still maintaining coherence, yes? All right, now, just what I want to mention to you guys here is, guys, a good essay is coherent and cohesive, which means that it's actually really easy to read and follow. One bit of information links to the next, and you just progress through it very easy. If, for example, that there's bits of information that don't match up or they're not connected, possibly off topic, then your essay becomes a little bit incoherent. So try not to be too technical, okay? I'm going to say just, look, go for the basics and then try and add the next bit of information to that using a connector, yes? Okay, over to lexical. Okay, now lexical, guys, it's generally speaking, it's a fancy word for vocabulary for a specific topic. So if you've got a topic about online shopping or shopping in general, all the vocab you use will be related to that topic. Okay, so keep that in mind. Now, band 7 says, guys, sufficient, or we normally call band 7 flexible vocab. All right, so that means you will have a lot of synonyms, words that have the same meaning, You will avoid any repetition, or as much as possible, okay? And you will be able to use a variety of words. So just keep in mind, we could say band 7 and above is having the ability to use the word decision as a noun, possibly decided, deciding as a verb, and then decisive as an adjective. Now, if you have the ability to do that, different words, yes, you're talking sort of a higher band score, yes? Okay, obviously you will need to use them precisely. Okay, now down to point 2, guys. First thing I'm going to say is less common words. Now, Happy, can you just scroll down for a second, down to band 4? Okay, so for lexical band 4, guys, it sort of says here, basic vocab. Okay, so can you scroll back up to band 7, please? All right, now, with basic vocab, guys, you don't score very high. Okay, so ideally you want to be using words that we don't use every day or that we consider less common. So if you were to say, oh, it was really good and fun, okay, sort of basic vocab. If you were to say it was exciting, enjoyable, your score goes up, yes? Now, a few basics I could also say to you. I mean, the word cheap or cheaper, very common word, yes? Okay, so if we can use words such as, let's say, pocket-friendly, affordable, inexpensive, definitely going to score higher, yes? Now, these are not academic words, they're just less common words. So they're words we don't use every day. And if you can do that, yes, definitely, you're increasing your lexical range. Now, all right, for writing task 2, this is a bit of a new thing because you're writing for writing task 2 and 1 should be formal. Okay, whereas speaking is a little, let's say, semi-formal or informal, all right? But they've started to include that you can use idiomatic terms or expressions. Okay, now, and this goes the same with speaking, guys. I'll go through that with you a little bit more when we get to idioms for speaking, yes? Okay, now it does talk about the point 3 here in lexical, does talk about awareness of style. So again, your essay should be formal style, okay? Avoid contractions such as I've or won't or haven't. You should be writing out the full words, yes? Okay. Now, awareness of collocations. Okay, now, collocations, I'm going to say this very, very simply. Okay, collocations are basically 2 words that go together in a specific order. Okay, now, a very typical example of that, and I hear it in the speaking test quite often, is, and this is a mistake students make, is they will say media social. Okay, when the actual collocation should be the other way around, social media. Now, I understand we call it media social in Indonesia, but it should be social media. And that's a collocation. All right, now, we could be, if I sort of mention a few others, environmentally friendly. We definitely don't say friendly environment, okay, or environmentally. And other examples of that could be things like market traditional market, okay. Can be a collocation such as fruit and vegetables. Okay, so there is a specific order that words that go together should be. Make sure you follow that. If you start making errors with collocations, you're sort of bringing your score down, yes? Awareness of collocations is definitely band 7 level. Band 6 doesn't talk about it. So if you're making mistakes with collocations, you're probably going to drop down to band 6. Okay. Now, guys, if you're sort of requiring a band 7, I'm going to say to you, there shouldn't be too many spelling mistakes or errors. Okay. It does say there are only a few, which does mean, I mean, there's no exact amount. I can't say 5 or 10, but I'm going to say try and limit your mistakes as much as possible. Now, it also mentions here word form or word formation, right? Guys, if you can use different forms of a word, such as instead of saying apply, 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 if you can say applies, applied, applying, application, applicant, that is not repetition. That is actually skillful use of the base form of the word, yes? Okay, now Band 7 does allow for a few word formation errors, okay? I went to the movie, I was boring. No, I was bored, okay? Or the movie was boring, so be careful with it, yes? All right, now over to grammar, guys. What I want to mention to you here is, Happy, can you please scroll down to Band 4 for grammar? Okay, so Band 4 says, guys, a very limited range of structures used. Okay, so it's sort of suggesting that the majority of sentences are simple sentences. Now, with rare subordinate clauses. I'm not going to get into a grammatical lesson for you, but I'm going to say, generally speaking, a subordinate clause is where you'll have two bits of information within a sentence. Okay, now, simple sentences don't score high in IELTS. They do not. So, Happy, can you go up to Band 6, please? Okay, so if you read the point number 1 for Band 6, guys, it says a mix of simple and complex sentences. Okay, now, what I'm going to say to you is if you write simple sentence, complex, complex, simple, simple, complex, okay, you're fitting into the Band 6 criteria. So ideally, what you need to do is avoid or try and limit the amount of simple sentences you make and try and make complex sentences as much as possible, which means you would be definitely fitting into the Band 7 criteria. Okay, secondly, guys, yes, punctuation is scored. I'm going to say to you guys, the main punctuation you need for IELTS is basically capital letters, full stops and commas. Okay, don't go overboard, not required. Try and keep it simple and make it accurate. Okay, now, all right, it says a few errors in grammar. Okay, again, there's not a set amount and it depends on whether it impedes communication. So what that sort of means is, does it stop the reader from, oh, what does that mean? Rereading or trying to work out what a certain bit of sentence means. Okay, so if that happens, it's sort of there's a breakdown of communication. It sort of goes down from Band 7, yeah? Now, the last thing, guys, it does say in point 2 here, error-free sentences are frequent. Okay, now, if we use the word frequent as a percentage, I think it's fair to say that frequent would be, let's say, 60, maybe 70%, right? So it's quite wordy, but it says error-free sentences are frequent. All right, so what I'm going to say to you there, guys, is 70% of what you write has no mistakes. Think of it that way. Okay. All right. Guys, yeah, you can close this one, Happy, if you like. Oh, actually, yeah. We'll go to writing task 1 in a minute. Now, guys, what I'm going to say to you is there is a public version of that file on Google. Okay, if you put in IELTS writing band descriptors, writing task 2 band descriptors, there is a public version. Okay, please don't undervalue or underestimate that file because it tells you exactly what you need to do in order to score a certain band score. Okay, so before you do anything, I would be studying this file and learn to know exactly what you need to do, yes? Okay. All right, how are we going for timing, Happy? Okay, can I move on to writing task 1?
Yes, we've got a little bit of time for writing task 1, I guess.
Okay, all right, guys. If you want to just write in your notes, writing task 1. Okay. Now, with writing task 1, guys, basically, IELTS will give you some sort of illustration. Now, the illustration could be a bar chart, a line graph, a table, possibly pie charts, maybe maps, or even a process or diagram. Now, your job is to actually write that in your own words. Okay, it's not opinion-based. Okay, you're presenting the information from the illustration into your own words. And the actual task requires you to summarize the information by selecting and reporting the main features, make comparisons where relevant. Okay, so that is actually the task. It doesn't matter which question type you get, you're always doing the same thing. Now, with writing task 1, guys, the basic structure of your essay is, if you want to just quickly note this down, is 1, you will have an introduction, paragraph 1, and that's where you will rewrite the topic in your own words and paraphrase it. Okay. Your second paragraph will be what we call your overview. Okay. Now, an overview is a very general summary of the main features, which, well, let's say, stand out or are most significant. Okay. And you're going to present that very generally. No data, no detail in your overview. Try and be as general as possible. Then you will have body paragraphs. Now, keeping the body paragraphs in a logical order, the first body paragraph would be the main feature, and then the second main feature and the third one. Now, there's no set amount of body paragraphs in your writing task 1, but I would say maximum 5. Okay, but however, some tasks, if it's a process, for example, you could only have 1 body paragraph. Okay. Now, scroll up a little bit, please, Happy, so I can see band 7 and 6. Thank you. All right. All right, covering the requirements of the task, guys. That is summarizing the information and reporting the main features. Okay. Okay. Ideally, you will be mentioning nearly everything possible. Okay, so don't leave out certain things. And it should be logically ordered, as I said, main, second main, third main. All right. For the academic module, guys, you are required to basically present the information, make comparisons, use data, and go into detail. Now, if you can do that, you are sort of fitting into the band 7 criteria. All right. Please don't forget an overview. If you've seen, guys, on the internet or other websites about putting your overview last paragraph, I'm going to advise you don't. All right. Your overview should be second paragraph in your writing task 1, because if you run out of time, or if you decide to leave it as last paragraph and you run out of time and don't have an overview, you're moving down to band 4 and band 5. Okay, because they say clearly here, no clear overview. So what I'm going to suggest to you is put it second paragraph. Hopefully it's clear and you are meeting the band 6 or band 7 criteria. Okay. If we go over to coherence and cohesion, again, guys, I've sort of mentioned this, logically organized. Okay. Don't discuss the small things first. Okay. We want to know the main features in an illustration. Yes. Okay. Again, you will need to use a range of cohesive devices, linking words, connectors. That's the same as writing task 2 and speaking. With the vocabulary, again, for productive skills, flexible vocab, a range of vocab, avoid repetition, and use synonyms as much as possible. A lot of the language that you will use in writing task 1 will relate to describing graphs. So they could be verbs such as increase or decrease, okay, going up, going down, plummet, soar, okay. So you will need to use those types of words. And you will also need to use adverbs and adjectives. So to say something increased, okay, it's correct. If you were to say it's gone from here to here, it increased slightly. If you were to say it went from here to here, it increased significantly. Okay, so you need to use that language as well. Style and collocation applies for writing task 2 as well, writing task 1 and basic errors. So basically the lexical resource and grammar is the same as writing task 2 and speaking, yes? Okay. Happy, can we go down to the speaking module, please? Just thinking. Okay. All right. Again, guys, I'm just going to go through the basics. I don't have time to go through everything in complete detail. But again, I would suggest you write down some things. Yes. All right. Again, your speaking score is scored in 4 different criteria. They are fluency and coherence, lexical, grammatical range and accuracy, and pronunciation. 25% each. So don't think that they change. You could, for example, score 7 for fluency and coherence, 6 for lexical, 7 for grammar, and 6 for pronunciation, which would give you a band score of 6.5 for your speaking, yes? Okay, now, just a few things, guys. If we start off with fluency and coherence. Fluency is your ability to be able to keep on talking without any pausing and hesitation, okay? And you have the ability to keep talking without any noticeable effort. Okay, that's basically band 7. Now, as soon as a student starts pausing and hesitating like that, you're coming down from a band 7. So my suggestion or advice to you guys is to just keep on talking. As long as you're staying on topic, keep talking and avoid any pausing and hesitation, because as soon as you do that, your score's coming down, yes? Okay. Now, some hesitation, all right, that's it's minor hesitation. It's more normally language related, not vocab related. So if you've got a little bit of hesitation, and I'll give you an example, if you've got a little bit of hesitation as to how you're actually going to present the information, that is okay or permissible. Okay, if you start, what's the word for it? Okay, that is vocab related hesitation. Now, again, guys, avoid any repetition. Okay, if you're repeating the same information just a different way, I would try and avoid that. Okay, try and present new information with new vocabulary. Now, next point, guys, it says self-correction. Now, if you make a mistake, it's okay to correct it. Okay, it's actually a good thing. Okay, however, just don't do it 20 times, yes? Okay, so if you were to make a mistake such as last week last week I went to the movies. Okay, correct it. Let the examiner know that you've fixed your mistake. Okay. Now, again, guys, the last point of fluency and coherence is that you can use a range of connective discourse markers and cohesive devices. Okay. Now, discourse markers, if you're not really familiar with them, they are what we call, or another term for them is signal language. So if you get asked a question such as, well, what kind of music do you like to listen to? Okay. If you say, oh, I like to listen to rock. Okay. All right. I would strongly suggest to you, don't just say one. I would be saying, example, well, I like several types of music. My favorite one is blah, 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 but I also like blah, blah, blah. And when I'm a little bit sad or down, I like this because of this. So that is signal language, firstly, and also, and finally. Okay, so you're signaling that you're talking about something else. All right. With vocab, guys, flexible vocab, okay, less common words, very important. Idioms. Now, guys, in band 6, it doesn't say anything about idioms. So if you don't use idioms, you are basically in the band 6 criteria. All right, now, idioms. I do understand it's not something that you learn in the classroom environment, and it's sort of something that teachers don't teach you as such, but you guys are probably picking up idioms from movies and TV shows. Right now, idioms, for example, that's language that we use that doesn't have a literal meaning. It possibly sounds something different. Now, a couple of examples. If you were to be asked a question such as, what's something you don't like about your studies? Okay, you can say, well, I hate mathematics. I'm no good at equations and formulas. They're not my cup of tea. Okay, so we're not talking about a cup of tea. We're suggesting that it's not suitable for you, yes? Or you're possibly not good at it. Okay. You could use other idioms, and these are just ones off the top of my head. You could use idioms such as, oh, Dad decided to take the family on a trip to Japan. Oh, I was over the moon, suggesting very excited or it was fantastic. Okay, so they are idioms. I will suggest to you guys, okay, I would avoid going to the internet and just trying to learn new idioms. Okay, too difficult because you need to be accurate with the use of idioms. So if you were to go to the internet or Google and just common or everyday idiomatic expressions, you would get hundreds of websites. Now, I would suggest go through those websites, look at all the different idioms, and you'll start going, oh, I know that one. I've heard that one before. Think about how you can include or incorporate that into your speaking test. But try to avoid learning new ones because if you make mistakes with them, it's not really a band 7. Okay. Now, I had a student, let's say 6 months ago. We were talking about the weather, and he was from Papua, and what he actually said was, I asked him about the weather, and he said, it cat and dog rain. Okay, now the idiom he was trying to say was, it's raining cats and dogs, which means heavy torrential rain. Okay, now I clearly knew what he meant, but unfortunately, because he got it so mixed up and round the wrong way and had errors in it, that's definitely not a band 7 use of idioms, yeah? Okay, now, guys, for speaking, paraphrasing is completely different to writing. Okay, now paraphrasing means you're giving all the outside information about something. So you are not expected to know every word in English, definitely not. However, you could skillfully explain what you're talking about. Okay, and that's considered actually really good. We call that paraphrase. So a few things that I want to mention without going off topic. Guys, don't use Bahasa in the test. Don't. Okay, so if you get asked where do you live, don't say Jakarta Selatan. Okay, South Jakarta. Okay, if you get asked about what school did you go to or something, don't say SMA Negara Nomor 13. Okay, you want to be saying State Senior High School number 13. Okay, so avoid any Bahasa. However, if you get asked a question such as, what's a traditional Indonesian dish that you would recommend? Okay, so obviously you're going to have to use the word in Bahasa. Okay, but if you do that, you need to clearly explain what it is. Okay, give all the main information about it. So, for example, a traditional Indonesian dish, your response could be something like, well, one of the most famous dishes in Indonesia is rendang. It actually originates from a small city in Sumatra called Padang. And what it is, it's when they slow cook meat in coconut milk over a long period of time. The meat becomes very soft and tender. The meat is then actually added to rice where a very delicious, spicy and tasty sauce is put on top. And it's normally eaten for lunch or dinner. Okay, so that is paraphrasing or an example of it, yes? Okay, now band 6 says generally able to paraphrase. Band 7 says effective. Okay, band 8 actually says that you only paraphrase if required because you actually have good control of your language. Okay, if we move over to grammar, grammar is the same for writing task 1, writing task 2 and speaking, yes? A range of complex structures, error-free sentences are frequent, and a fairly good understanding of basic grammar, yes? Okay, now for pronunciation, guys, there are 4 main features of pronunciation. All right, and those 4 features are, okay, first of all, you will need to use stress and intonation. Okay, so don't be flat. Oh, I really love chocolate cake. Okay, you don't be over-expressive, but you need to say, oh, I really love chocolate cake, especially on my birthday. my mum normally buys me this triple layer chocolate cake, etc. Your voice needs to go up and down, and you need to have stress and intonation. Okay. Secondly, guys, with speaking, don't talk fast. Okay. Rapid speech rate is actually a bad thing in English. Okay. So slow down, have a very natural speech rate. Okay. If you've watched any movies or TV shows, Western TV shows or movies, bullets or foreigners, we don't talk fast. English is actually a slower language. So try and keep a steady speed. Don't talk really fast. That's a negative. Don't talk really slow. That's a negative. Just a natural speech rate. Okay. Next thing I want to mention is, guys, is pronunciation of words. Okay. Very important. Okay. If the examiner can't understand what the words you're trying to say, there can be difficulties. Okay. Now, if you're going to use certain words, guys, make sure that you pronounce them correctly. Now, if, for example, I'm going to put a word onto the chat. Okay, I think everyone can see that word, yes? Okay, now, it's a very mispronounced word. Okay, most students will say Genri, Genra, all of these different versions, when the correct pronunciation is genre. Now, it's a French word in the dictionary, but that would be a pronunciation issue. Now, I will also say to you guys, avoid using words, or not avoid, try or make sure that if you're using words that have silent letters, okay, don't ask me why English has silent letters in their words, okay? But if you're going to use those words, make sure you pronounce them correctly. So as an example, we have words such as doubt, and a lot of people say doubt. Debt, as in owe money. A lot of students say debt. Okay. It can be words like scenery. So these words all have silent letters, and you need to pronounce them, and you can go to Google, type in the word, get them to say the word to you, and they will pronounce it properly, yes? Okay. Now, even a very common one that a lot of students say, and I know it's how you say it in Indonesia, but they'll say salmon, as in the fish, salmon. Okay, now, we don't pronounce the L. So the actual pronunciation of that word is salmon. Salmon. Now, if you were to say, and I don't mean this to be harsh on anyone, if you were to say salmon, okay, that's the same as saying knowledge. Okay, now you guys are already familiar with the word knowledge, has a K in front, but we don't pronounce it. Okay, that's the same as the L in salmon, yes? So be careful with that. Now, the final thing is, guys, for pronunciation, can you scroll up a little bit, please, Happy, just so I can see band 8? Okay. This doesn't have it. Okay. Guys, don't think that accent affects your pronunciation. Okay, there are many Indonesian students who still have a bit of an accent, but can still be clearly understood, okay, with correct tone, stress, pronunciation of words. Now, what I can say to you is try and avoid using some of the features of Bahasa in your English. Now, the main one that I'm thinking of is, and I can't even do it properly, I'll try, but in Indonesia, you'll say, apa kabar? Kabar. I can't roll the R, yes? But try to avoid rolling R's because that's a feature of Bahasa, not English, yes? So, in other words, don't let your first language Bahasa affect how you speak English. So, I know it might sound very simple, but I'm going to say, hey, if you want to speak good English, try and speak like what you hear or see in those TVs and movie shows. Trying to eliminate any Bahasa influence. Okay, well, that's basically the band descriptors. All right, so Happy, you can close that page if you like. All right, I haven't looked at any of the questions yet, guys. So how do you want to do this, Happy? Have you got a list of questions already, or is people just going to randomly ask me a question, or what are we going to do?
So maybe the participants can type their question on the question chat box, or maybe they can raise hands and ask you directly. Open your camera.
Okay, guys, fire away. Question and answer session. Are there any questions on the chat already?
Not yet. Does anyone want to ask Jamie directly? Please raise your hand
Come on, don't
and
be
then
shy.
open your camera. We still got approximately 10 minutes for this webinar.
Mas Happy, may I start the question?
Yeah, sure,
Oh.
but
Hi, Jamie. Thank you for the explanation and presentation. I have a very short question. In speaking part 2, I know that we should speak for around 2 minutes. Should we keep speaking or we should stop before 2 minutes is over? Thank you.
Okay. All right. First of all, I don't mean to correct you, Irma. You have 1 minute preparation time to write notes, and then you are required to talk for 2 minutes. Now, it's not around 2 minutes. Now, what I'm going to say is the examiner will stop you at 2 minutes. If you actually stop talking at 1 minute or a minute and a half, that sort of means that you can't talk for long periods of time. Okay, so what I'm going to say to you is stay on topic, keep talking. If the examiner stops you at 2 minutes, it's a good thing. No penalty, no problem. Okay, so in order to be fluent and keep talking, let the examiner stop you at 2 minutes.
I see. Noted. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, come on, guys.
there's one question, Jamie, from Dian.
Okay. Hi, Diane. What's your question, Diane? Oh, it's on the chat. Okay, hang on. Could you give us tips to speaking part 2? My tip is, okay, you will have in speaking part 2, every speaking part 2 has the word describe. Okay, describe a person, describe your favorite, describe someone, describe something. Now it means one. Describe describe someone, describe something. Okay, so I'm going to say to you, that is your task. Underneath that, you will notice there are 3 prompts. They are not questions. Okay, what you need to do is when you're describing whatever it may be, you are going to address those 3 prompts in the 2 minutes of description. Okay, now with part 2, normally if a student dries up or doesn't reach the 2 minutes, it's because they are just scratching the surface. They're not going into detail. So my point to you would be to, if you've got, when you write your notes, okay, you're allowed to look at your notes, remember, and the topic, go into detail. Okay. All right. So, and keep talking, yes. I know I have some Scottish and British accent. I have a question regarding accents. I don't know how, why, but I have some Scottish and British accents as a result. Sorry, is it Najwa? Okay. What do you mean you have some Scottish and British accent? Okay. Scottish is a very hard language to understand. Okay. So I have troubles understanding Scottish as well. But are you saying that you use them or I don't understand what you're asking me.
Okay, maybe Najwa can clarify
Hello,
in
Najwa,
the
are you there?
chat.
Look, what I will say to you, it doesn't matter if you, my pronunciation of some words, because I mostly got influenced by online media. Okay. Look, Najwa, as long as your pronunciation's clear, it doesn't matter if you're using Australian, American, or British English. Doesn't matter. As long as the pronunciation of the word is clear. Okay. All right. Guys, what I'm going to say to you, in the speaking test, there's no point being nervous. I understand that it's a sort of a nerve-wracking experience, but I'm going to say you will not perform at your best if you're nervous. Okay, so I'm going to say to you, go in to the speaking test, relax, be calm, talk like you're speaking to someone. we are not scary or intimidating at all. We want to score you as high as possible. So just relax and produce vocab and language. All right. Try and forget about the nervousness.
Jamie, can we go to the participants who raised their hands first?
Yep. Okay.
The first one is Alia.
Okay.
Alia,
Hi,
please
Alia.
open your camera and then ask to Jamie directly.
Okay, so first of all, thank you for the opportunity. So I often experience like writer's block during the IELTS writing test, and like especially when I cannot think of ideas right away. Do you have any tips or strategies to help generate ideas more quickly during the exam?
Okay. A good question, Alia. Look, what I'm going to say to you is, and I don't mean this rudely at all, I can't think of ideas for you. Okay. And that's really up to yourself. What I will say is the ideas that you choose must be topical and relevant. Okay. Now, if you've got a topic, of course, the first thing that you do is you're going to write a plan. Now, my advice to you is don't choose difficult or technical ideas. Don't. You're going to make it difficult for yourself, and it's already difficult as it is. So my advice is choose simple, easy ideas. And the way that you actually score high is by presenting those ideas in complex sentences, linking words, connectors, and good vocab. Okay, so there's nowhere on the band descriptors that says that you will score higher for a technical idea. No, you're going to get scored higher for a clear idea. Now, quite often in class, a lot of students will come up with all these technical ideas. And like, example, what are the advantages of living in a big city? Okay, and then I hear all these things and I'm like, wait up, guys, the advantages of you living in a big city: entertainment, possibly job opportunities, education. We could even say healthcare. Keep it simple. Don't complicate it. Okay, and if you choose simpler ideas, they're actually a lot easier to support. Okay, hopefully that answers your question, Alia. Okay, is it
Okay.
Is it
Then
Obs?
Yeah, Ops Marit one. Could you open your camera and then ask to Jamie?
Sorry, my name is Rais.
Okay, Rais.
About the speaking test, I think my problem is only when sometimes when you get nervous and you start, stutter. You know what I mean?
Okay, let's just clear this up, Obs. A stutter is a speech impediment.
Yes.
Okay, so a stutter is somewhat that. Okay, it's normally not a stutter. It's normally pausing and hesitation to come up with information.
Yeah.
Now, what I'm going to say to you is, if you're nervous, like in front of your boss or something, yes, you're going to be a little bit like that. So you need to relax and be calm. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If that's a situation in the test, it normally means that you'll start overthinking and this word and that word, and then you start thinking about grammar, and the whole time that's happening, your fluency is coming down. Okay, so look, you don't have to be grammatically perfect. If you make a few mistakes, so be it. You can correct them. I think one of the keys is keep your fluency up.
Okay. And do you have any tips, like when we in that situations, like any filler or something that we can use to make it like correct and not really looks like a stuttering?
Look, yes, there's a few websites that tell you about using fillers, but look, if I ask you a question like, what's your favorite color? Okay, and you say, oh, well, that's an interesting question. I've never thought of that before. I'm like, what? Okay, it's an easy question. Like fillers are basically used to help the student, give them a little bit of time to generate ideas and information. Okay, so I'm going to say, be relaxed. Tell me your favorite color. Tell me why, blah, blah, blah. Okay, I'm not saying I don't teach my students fillers. No. Okay, I'll teach them to keep on talking more fluently. Yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
Maybe the last one, Argana.
Argana. Can't hear you, Argana.
Hello, hello.
Yes.
So you mentioned that for Band 7, our vocabulary should be flexible and precise. Sometimes I struggle between choosing a less common word and a simpler one that fits naturally in the sentence. So which one should I prioritize, natural use or rare vocabulary when I'm aiming for Band 7?
That sounds like a very AI generated question. Well, let's make it very simple. Look, if you use common vocab, it's band 7, band 6. Okay, so less common vocab is band 7 and above. Okay, even if you make a grammatically correct sentence and correct use of a word, but you're using basic vocab, you're still band 6. So what I will say to you is, less common words score way higher.
Okay, thank you, Mr.
Okay, and that's what it says on the band descriptors, so please follow it.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, just quickly, Howard, nervousness, pronunciation, okay. Okay, more vocab. Guys, you don't learn vocab overnight. Okay, you have to work on your vocab and build it. Okay, there's no point writing down a list of words and thinking you're going to memorize them. No, you have to just a couple of words per day and use them. That's how you increase your vocab. How long does it take to get? Well, it's hard to say to get from band 5 to band 7. Look, that's not going to happen overnight as well. So what I would say is practice, practice, practice. How to speak part 3. Should we give an opinions in general first or give to... Okay, for Muhammad. Okay. Look, Muhammad, for part 3 in speaking, there's a very simple strategy that we follow. Okay, and that is Oreo, like the chocolate biscuit. Okay, now that actually refers to O for opinion, R for reason, support, E for an example, and then O for an opposite view. Now, your answer doesn't have to be actually structured exactly that way, but they are sort of the things that you are required to do, because part 3 is an extended response. No short answers, okay? Keep in mind, we are not scoring your opinion. And I don't mean this rudely. I don't care what your opinion is, okay? As long as your opinion is on topic, you've got reasons and support for it, no problem, up to you, okay? But definitely you should be including your opinion, reasons and support for it, possibly an example, and then how other people may feel about it. Okay, so how to consistently learn. Diane, keep practice, practice, practice. Try and put all your TV shows into English or whatever you're watching. I would suggest you could also have English sessions at home with your friends, family, whatever it may be. From 6 till 8 o'clock every night, you all talk English. Okay, forget about making mistakes. It's not a problem at that stage. Are there any apps recommended to enhance it? Apps for vocab. I'm not really aware of that, any apps for vocab. I would sort of just suggest you choose topical vocab. So, for example, you get a topic such as shopping or going to the beach, get a list of vocab, and then you can put that vocab into sentences, make sure you're using it correctly. That's what I would suggest. Okay, any other questions, guys?
Okay, Jamie, I think it's already 9:30, so we don't have more time to answer your question, but I know it is interesting, guys. Maybe we can have another webinar with Education USA and also Unmul and UMKT next time. So thank you, Jamie, for the presentation. It was very insightful.
You're
And
welcome.
thank you, everyone, once again for your attention and also participation throughout the session. We hope that today's webinar has been informative and helpful for your IELTS journey. And feel free to reach out if you have any question after the session. We'd be happy to assist. With that, we'll close today's webinar. Thank you and see you next time.
Okay, thank you, guys. Have a nice day, yeah?
Thank you, Jamie.
You're
Thank you
welcome.
all.